what Gemini has classified as phase 5, the genius in self and the double. Both the concepts from my document. Questions number 56 to 70. Question number 56. Who is the double waiting for you at the end of this book? Oh, it is not a who. Who implies some kind of a personification. It is not a personification. I am the personification of my double. So double is a nature process element. Double, according to me, is the mold, M-O-U-L-D, mold of a given human entity. So it is not waiting for me at the end of this book. It is all the time there with me. Question number 57. Is the double a memory of the future or a shadow of the past? It is a question based on what Gemini has understood from my concept of double. So it is not a memory, it is not anything about the future in that sense, and not a shadow of the past. At the same time, it contains the impressions of the past as well as the possible linkages to the future. It is with everyone, but they are not tuned to that. Unless it is tuned, it will not vibrate with the intents of the person. Apparently, it is vibrating with my intents whenever it is necessary. Double is the last thing which I resort to when I find no more doors before me in certain situations. Question number 58. How do you summon the double during a period of creative block? Oh, that's a beautiful question. They have understood something. Yeah, I don't normally summon the double when I face a creative block, and in my journey of understanding creativity or originality or discovery or genius, or to understand destiny, or to go beyond the visible terrains of the nature process, I never felt a block. Whatever I could think of, I got the responses almost instantly. And right now, I want to write certain books, but realizing that the books are of no use, neither for me nor for the readers, in the sense that no reader is willing to read my kind of books. Yet when I decide sometimes to write a book, but I feel a lot of hesitation inside me. And for that I don't want to summon the double. The double will assist only when existentially I am blocked, not creatively blocked. Question number 59. What does the double know that the self refuses to see? I don't think myself is refusing to see anything. If I refuse to see something, I don't see, that's all. But perhaps the double must be knowing everything. I have never cross-checked it. Double is not about knowing. It is about doing. It is about the being. It is about doing without any knowing. So it is a part of the being. As I told you, it is the mold of the being. Question number 60. Is genius simply the state of being in synchronicity, I suppose, or in synchronization with the double? Yeah, that is a good question. To my understanding, it is a kind of synchronicity with the double. The state of genius, because I define genius as the attendant spirit of a person, place or thing. Not in fact, my definition per se, it is, I have understood it from the logic of the lexicon, logic of the dictionary. So genius is the attendant spirit of a person. It must be the tuning with the double that enables the flow of ideas or perceptions or insights when I start thinking about something. Yeah. So it's a kind of synchronicity, but synchronicity is a totally different concept of Carl Jung. But in sync, Gemini means in tuning or in harmony. Yes, genius state when somebody is able to coincidentally or accidentally or by the blessing of some guru or by some unique configuration of experiences, when the individual's spirit gets tuned with the double. Consciously, the functions at the level of genius cannot be easily achieved. Though I am the one who declared in my book that genius is a choice. Yeah, it's a choice. When an individual realizes the rudimentary projections of the operation of the double in his life or work or activities, then he or she has to identify that and boldly trust it and depend on that. That is the kind of choice I mean. Genius is a choice. Question number 61. How does the double handle failure? That I don't know. I do not connect double with the failure. As I told you, Gemini is taking the concept of double in a different sense. No. But as I understand, I have never been affected by any sense of failure. I have never been systematically employed, nor I never had any sufficient money with me, but I never felt any failure in my life. A lot of my friends and well-wishers always used to wonder, how Sundar, how are you managing your life? For example, when I wanted some money, I never borrowed, of course, I never borrowed from anybody. When I want some money, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then somehow money comes to me. I have never approached any organization for training programs, though I could do really effective and efficient training programs in creative analytical thinking, which I have done to at least about 140 plus companies. In all these cases, somehow or the other, of course, by some benevolent friends or some network contacts always told somebody in the company, HR head or someone. So I got a call exactly at the appropriate time. And I go, get the program, I do the program, I get some money. And if I get some money, that will be quite sufficient for me to live a whole year. And when that money is over, exactly at that time, there will be some program would come. That is what happened till today. That I definitely consider as the work of a double. Then there are several instances where I felt the presence or the assistance of the double. That I cannot tell publicly, which I have not told virtually anybody. Some of them I have told to my trainers, but significant ones I have not told to anyone. It should not be told. That's what my father had told me. Never reveal the greatest secrets of your understanding or the method of your understanding or the way you have been supported by the double. Because you cannot claim that. You do not have any claim on that. Because you have never done anything. It was an act of the double. So how can you talk about it? You just humbly accept it. That's all. I don't even accept. I just go as if nothing has happened. Question 62. Describe the conversation between the self and the double. Describing a conversation. Yeah. As I read some books, certain questions simply occur to me. Not that I consciously chose a theme to think about. It happens. Those who are creative thinkers, they all know this. I have interviewed creative thinkers. It has been the same for them also. Just like that a theme comes, a concept comes, the rudimentary projections of something happens, then it goes on developing itself. No conscious thinking. As I always say, nobody can consciously write a great poem. So it has to happen. So there is a conversation which I call internal dialogue. Creativity researchers also seem to have identified that by their interviews with people. So they say internal dialogue. There is an internal dialogue all the time, or most of the time. So that's a kind of a conversation in the sense that there is a question, or when I developed a methodology for creative analytical thinking, at that time I consciously tried to develop a framework of creative analytical thinking. So at that time there was a kind of a conversation. I have a concept, I develop it, and then something else is telling me, no, that is not the way. It is this. So there is a clear conversation. It is a dialoguing. It is a critical dialogue sometimes. Sometimes by the end of that dialoguing, the concept is very clear. You don't feel like cross-checking it with anyone. You feel quite a firm conviction about your ideas. That's what I have done. I have the ideas of 6 components of the human entity, the framework of linkage analysis, the concept of genius in self. All this occurred to me definitely as a result of the internal dialogue that happened in me, and quite possibly the other side of the dialogue must have been under the pedaling of the double. So I consider it as a pedaling. I pedal and the double pedals. So the cycle of thought process goes forward. 63. Can the double be frightened by the ordinary mind sitting? 100% no. There is no linkage. There is no direct linkage between the self or the person and the double. It's a linkageless linkage. It is there, but it is not there. It is a kind of a gateless gate linkage. So there is no getting frightened, etc. Perhaps there could be many people who felt the presence of something else, or something else did some wonderful magic, most of the time in protecting from dangers, or like when there is no money, some stranger just comes and offers some money, things like that. Perhaps a lot of so-called ordinary people might have felt the presence of something else. They might name it as their deity or God or whatever. So even if it is a deity or God, I don't think there is any contest for getting frightened. Double, of course not. Perhaps the double is not cooperating with a lot of people, not because the double is frightened, but double could not contact, that's all. There was no access. Unless you look, you will not see. So that's all. Question 64. What is the gift the double brings to the 52-year mission? Everything, every idea that I have developed. I happen to write down, or I happen to talk about to my students or to the public. They are all almost 100% the gift of the double only. I have addressed the audiences at least about 7-8 times. I never had to prepare. I had given wonderful talks to audiences. I never had to prepare. Some of my talks are on the YouTube. I have even addressed an international conference on my double given concept of the mystic leader. It is in my YouTube, the mystic leader. I gave the keynote address. That was a mystic leader. I didn't carry a piece of paper or anything. I just went to the speaker stand and I just started talking. It is in the YouTube. So it is all, even that talking was assisted by the double. I was not talking. It was in perfect order. Everybody appreciated it. All my talks are appreciated by everyone. I have done close to 200 training programs in creative analytical thinking, mental block analysis, then and some related things. I never carried any PowerPoint presentation. I never carried any notes. And some of my training programs on leadership, some meaning about 20 training programs on leadership, which lasted 3 days, starting every day morning at 9:30 and ending up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, sometimes round the clock. I never had any piece of paper or nothing. That is the kind of flow of ideas or flow of concepts and perspectives to guide the audience, the participants, to make them understand leadership, which I have done. I don't think anybody in the world would have done something like that. 3 days continuously. And of course, the participants would sit as if in a magic. So it was the work of the double. I have done it in Satyam Computers. I have done it for the managers of the Kerala State Cooperative Bank Limited. And I have done it for some 2-3 other companies like Kochi Refineries and all that. That is also the work of the double assistant. How do you recognize another person's double? So here all the questions are as if double is a kind of a visible entity, some format. It has a format, at the same time it has no format. It is a kind of sometimes it appears as a kind of apparition, that's all. A vague form of mist kind of form, that's all. That's all. I have not been able to recognize the double of somebody else the way I understand the double. Question 66. Is the double subject to the laws of physics? Not at all. Question 67. What happens to the double when the self is distributed? For distribution has a lot of meaning. If I take it as the dissolution of self or the disappearance of self, the double also vanishes. The double vanishes something like the old picture tube is switched off. Something like that. 68. How do you feed the double? Yeah. I don't have to feed the double. Rather, the double feeds me. 69. What is the double's manner and style? Oh, double's manner and style. That I am not able to define it. There is no manner and style the way any human being can understand. Even I don't know, I don't understand, but it just happens. Like there is no manner and style for the incidence of the feeling of love when you come across a beautiful girl. There is no manner and style. Something like that. Question number 70. If the devil wrote a book, how would it differ from yours? Yeah, if the devil wrote a book, it would differ a little bit, that's all. Constants would be more or less identical. Perhaps the sequencing or the syntax of the sentences and the beginning and end could be little bit different. Most of my writings in the sleep, they are by double. I have about 200-page notebook still remaining there. But now, sometime back when I wanted to write something out of those books, I could not understand most of those ideas. So that could be a problem when the double writes a book by itself. That's all. Question number 70.